Hello and welcome to the Against the Fence podcast. I was sitting down at the end of 2024, started 2025, and I was thinking, how can I change things up a bit so that I can show a bit more kind of personality and have a bit more of a laugh than the kind of format that we've been doing. If you've watched the other ones, they're obviously interview styles. I'm still going to do those. We're going to look at doing one once a month, but one of the first people to actually join me on this podcast was the man sat right here, Red Wolf. Hello, how we doing?
What's happening, Breezy? How's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. A little surprise. We are gonna have a crack at basically just having a bit of fun. I think I'm not going to take this too seriously. I just want to talk about some of the crazy things that are going on at the moment and just see where it takes us. I think that's the easiest way of putting it, right?
Pretty much. You know, it's a man and a southerner just having a chat. So what could go wrong, or what could go right?
Yeah, if I was Scouse, this wouldn't be happening.
Well, it would be, but it might go a totally different way. You know what I mean?
It'd be like Roy Keane and Gary Neville on punditry, wouldn't it? Like, or Jamie Carragher, I don't know.
Pretty much, you know what I mean? It just descend into chaos. This might still descend into chaos, but it'd be fun to watch.
True. Like I've got a structure to this, and I do feel like we're gonna lose ourselves for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then go, oh shit, wait, where were we? But
yeah,
who cares about that? Eh?
Rules are there made to be broken. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I want to start off when we run the initial podcast of us like just talking. One of the things that I said on it is how I enjoy scrolling through Twitter and just seeing some of your tweets. And a really interesting one, which was highlighted by one of your followers. I'll get the picture up so you guys can see it because I've forgotten the guy's name. You might be able to give him credit, but he found on Reddit that the UFC's Reddit had word for word stolen your tweet and picture, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It even included the punctuation mistake that I accidentally left in there. Do you know what I mean? So it was literally a copy and paste job. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least if you're gonna copy my punctuation mistakes, at least give us a little bit of credit for that. You know what I mean?
But yeah, they missed out is right. You missed it is out, and they'd also missed it out.
Yeah. So that was like you just gave the game away, fellas. Do you know what I mean? Even included the emojis. I think I actually flicked through the Reddit thread when it was Van Whedon who showed me it. Worked with that guy on the MMA Homies podcast, and I was flicking through the thread, and I'm like, everyone else was commenting saying like, you've stole it word for word. You've even used the same emojis. Do you know what I mean? And even people were commenting saying that's Red Wolves. That's Red Wolves. You stealing bastards. Do you know? So, well, it's like it must have done. It's done well. It's done well. And I've seen a few other people trying to do like interpretation of it. So I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I'm just spreading the love of these sick people that knew exactly who that was just from that one picture. You know what I mean?
You had some other banger tweets as well, didn't you, over the Christmas period into the new year? I know your reply to Nina Drama did quite well.
Well, I'm always replying to Nina when she was on holiday in Brazil, and she was putting a few pictures up there. So the responses were usually Derek Lewis with his tongue out, or Tom Aspinall asking her, what would it say? It's and people seem to agree. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, we are an odd bunch. Anyway, speaking of the man Tom Aspinall, one of the big headlines that's coming out at the moment is that Jon Jones is contemplating retirement amidst potential fight with Tom Aspinall. Obviously, I know you're a massive Tom Aspinall fan. Maybe the biggest. Maybe we'll put it to the test one day.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get your opinion. I've seen quite a few duck tweets being thrown around.
Yeah, and I've had a few Jon Jones fans come at me and block me lately because I put this is another saga in the episode in the DuckTales saga, and I may have made a picture of Jon Jones as a Donald Duck, but it's just because the original story was that he was offered 30 mil. I mean, this was on Joe Rogan not long ago, and he was saying he's been offered 30 million. Oh, he's asking for 30 million, and the UFC are going to pay it. So I thought, you know what, 30 million, give it him. Do you know what I mean? Like he deserves 30 million. It could be his last one. You know, I know I make jokes, but yeah, he is one of the GOATs. He's done more in the sport than many other fighters. And then a day later, it comes out that Dana said, "Yeah, 30 million is bullshit," and he's thinking of retiring. I just lost it. I just started laughing. I went, "This can't be. No. Do you know what I mean?" And it goes back to when Tom said about a few months ago, I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him. And it seems to be becoming more and more true every day. Do you know what I mean? It's the fight people want to see. Like everywhere you go on Twitter or Instagram, wherever, everyone's talking about Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall is a fight to make. If Jon retires without that fight happening, I feel it just leaves a big asterisk. You know what I mean? On his legacy.
Yeah, it does. It does comfort me slightly that even what many see as the toughest man on the planet still gets scared. I mean, I get scared when there's a big queue in Mackey's and they've not given me my barbecue sauce, and I got to go to the
Yeah,
front desk and ask for it. So,
yeah,
and no one's paid me 30 million quid to do that.
no,
So it's a bit comforted, but sure, who is not looking at that? Like as well, I think a couple of months ago, people were saying about Alex Pereira moving up to heavyweight and having that fight against Jon Jones.
yeah,
Right now, genuinely, with everything that's happened and the conversations that have happened, I don't think there's any bigger fight in the UFC to make than that one.
no, no, they can't be. I mean, it's a heavyweight title unification. I think the last time that happened, and I might be wrong on this, but I did look into it. I'm sure it was like Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez, which was God knows when. Do you know, about 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. So it doesn't get any bigger. You've got the old school. You've got Jon Jones, like one of the GOATs who's been in the game for God knows how long. And you've got Tom Aspinall, who people are talking about as being possibly the best heavyweight they've ever seen. Right? I personally
Yeah.
believe that. I know I'm biased, but you know, it is what it is. So this is proving that Jon is the GOAT. I mean, if he wins, he's just beat the next best thing that's coming up. He's gone through generations and he's proved that he can beat anyone. If he loses, I still don't think there's any shame in him losing. You know, you're passing the torch, Jon.
Yeah, but doesn't want to do that, clearly.
No.
He doesn't want people to make. He doesn't want Tom to make a name off of him, which I do get because he's been doing this a while. But I think Tom's made a name off of him saying no.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, you know, Dominic Reyes made a name off Jon Jones. Anthony
Yeah,
Smith
and
made a
Gustafsson.
name. And Gustafsson, you know what I mean? And you know, all these other fighters that he fought before he moved to heavyweight and stuff like that. You know, I mean, if Shogun had have refused to fight Jon Jones because he hasn't proved himself, we'd be looking at a completely different timeline. Jon will probably still be a champion eventually, but Shogun
Yeah,
gave him a shot when he was younger,
yeah.
and then look at what happened there. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, I mean, Alex Volkanovski didn't get to take the Topuria fight straight after Makachev. You know, he could have waited it out. It's things like that where you kind of go, yeah, I see what you're saying, but
But do you not think there's an element to Jon Jones is potentially a little bit um, older and wiser than
yeah,
Volkanovski at that time? Because Volk was in the thick of it at the time, and
yeah, yeah,
he is someone that I think struggles not fighting.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I managed to speak to Volk in Manchester. Main thing he was saying was, I've got itchy knuckles. Like, I really want another fight. You know what I mean? And he's still kind of waiting for that opportunity now. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, But with Tom and John, Tom has been pretty much training for John since he came in to the UFC. Do you know what I mean? He's always had his sights on him.
Yeah,
And I do think John, John's clever with what he does. He is clever. He's a bit of an evil
100%.
genius. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and he knows what he's doing. And when he was like, "Yeah, Tom's an asshole. I'm not going to fight him," this that, and the other. Everyone said it's all negotiation tactics, and it's like I can see where you're coming from, but at the same time, it's also coming across as he's scared to lose. Do you know what I mean? Which I think anybody is when they go into a fight. But
Yeah.
that's part of the risk.
Yeah, and also if we look at the timeline as well, so Ngannou fought Stipe and absolutely starched the bloke. They then had a bit of a hoo-ha, whatever. Cyril Gane fight happened.
Mm.
Then he left. I think it was that. I think that was it. And then all of a sudden, Jon Jones comes back.
Yeah.
He fights Cyril Gane, who he probably knew, and realistically, especially, I think everyone knew the fight was going to go that way. I don't think
Yeah.
everyone knew it was going to be that quick, but
Yeah.
I think, and I mean, Cyril Gane had no answers whatsoever either.
No.
He's out for a year because he's injured himself. His next fight, which everyone's like saying it shouldn't happen, is Stipe Miocic, who should have
Yeah.
retired after the Ngannou fight. For honest, he hadn't fought for like
3
4
years.
years.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Jon Jones, at the same time as all of this is panning out, there's a young kid from Manchester who's coming in and absolutely starching everyone, finishing absolutely everyone in the first round, and has continued to do so.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a grey horse in his calculation, I think, and now it's here.
He's backed
Just
into
do it.
Yeah. He's basically all right. So I mean, like the Stipe fight, I felt like it was like 2 or 3 years too late. Yeah, it was. I would love to have seen that fight 3 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, it was a good fight. Watched it. John looked great. Stipe even looked good for his age in the fight and caught John a few times. He was a lot slower than he used to be. Which
Yeah.
he was 42 years old. Do you know what I mean? He knew it was his last fight and this and the other. But so a lot of people kind of look at that and say, yeah, John looked great, but no disrespect to Stipe, you fought a 42-year-old out of his prime Stipe, not
Yeah.
heavyweight goat Stipe. So I think, like you say, you look at that, and then you look at the speed of Aspinall, you look at the technique of Aspinall, you look at the well-roundedness of the striking, the ground game, and everything. And John, it's no wonder John was asking for 30 million. I can understand it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm undefeated and I'm classed as the GOAT, and I'm looking at this kid thinking, "Fuck, I might lose this." Yeah, so you're right.
Yeah.
I'm asking for big bucks. Do you know what I mean? Why Dana isn't? And I would have been happy with that. Yeah, pay him 30 mil. And the good thing is that Dana shouldn't care about too much about that because John would fight him for fucking less than half, a quarter of that. Do you know what I mean? He just wants to fight John.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there. I even thought, is that another tactic? Is that another, John's asked for 30 million? Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be.
Because if you looked at GSP, he was out and then came to fight Bisping, and then it was immediately was like, right, that's it, I'm done again.
Yeah,
and if he was gonna do that, I feel like he would have just done that with Stipe.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of people were kind of debating that, are they both going to retire in the octagon and this that, and the other? And then he gave that post-fight speech. He didn't mention Tom. Tom's in the crowd there, like, what? He just blanked me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he said, you know what? I'm not going to retire. I'm going to give the fans what they want. Well, the fans want you versus Tom. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's what we want. That's what it's got to be. And even Dana said at the post-fight, his next fight is Tom Aspinall. It's going to be the biggest heavyweight fight ever. So I think Dana, if he's got some balls on him, he'll say to John, "You're fighting Tom, or you're retiring and relinquishing the belt." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I hope doesn't happen. I hope we do see Tom and John, just so we can finally put the debate to rest, type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And I've got a load of Jon Jones haters. I really want for John. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we can say at the end of the day, if he doesn't take the fight, he knew he was going to lose, and that's why he didn't take the fight.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it, right?
Yeah. And then
if he takes the fight and he beats him, fair flipping play.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Every guy that's like called me a fucking, all these names for being a Tom, whatever it's called. Like, I'll shake their hand. I'll say, you know what? Yeah. Jon Jones will beat him fair and square. But we're never going to know. I always say that to people. Oh well, Jon will beat his ass. It's like, then prove it. Let's see it. You know what I mean?
And even if John does beat him and then retires, and surely Tom fights for the belt
Yeah.
again.
Either
Right, yeah.
way. Say John beats Tom, then he retires. Then Tom's still going to fight Cyril Gane or Volkov for the like the undisputed. Do you know what I mean? Because it's vacant then. So
Yeah.
Tom's going to be by the end of 2025. Tom is going to be undisputed champion. There's no two ways about it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter which way it happens. It's happening.
Yeah. So speaking of returns and Jon Jones and obviously all that stuff, I was listening to TalkSport. They've got a new kind of talk show, MMA show. It's out on YouTube at the minute. Blake Harrison, as we all know, as Neil from the Inbetweeners, a Wobber Bob Bob, that guy.
Yeah.
Um,
How much Lego can you shove up your
Yes, I was listening. So for people that don't know, he's got his own fan show that he does with a guy called Stu Whiffen, who owns a nightclub and stuff. And they were talking they did like an end of year fans questions, and they were talking that they went to one of the UFC London events, and all Blake got for like literally the whole time he was there was pissed up grown men asking him how much Lego he could shove up his bum.
And so the Americans watching, like, they're going to be listening to this going, what the, you know what I mean? Like, but, the In-Betweeners is like, it's a cultural, phenomenal, like, show back in the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone our age can quote it word for word. It was just like,
yeah, it is, yeah.
one of the best TV shows ever. Yeah, they did make an American version, from what I've heard, and it isn't a patch on the UK version. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. It's that UK humour.
Yeah, the In-Betweeners is one of them things that I can just always go back to no matter what.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, I was surprised, like, say, a few years ago, like, I'm thinking, yo, what the fuck? Neil from the In-Betweeners got an MMA podcast. No way, when did that happen? Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool, actually.
But he was saying on this episode, they were debating about Conor McGregor coming back, and I think one of the guys said he should fight. I think off the top of my head, it was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Colby Covington. One of those two. And Blake made a point saying that he thinks the only person that he could come back and potentially beat in their division would be Paddy Pimblett.
Ooh, that's an interesting matchup. But look, could he? Because Paddy's ground game is, as far as I'm concerned, elite. Do you know what I mean? Like,
incredibly good, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't think people realize just how good he is. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's even videos of him choking out and submitting like 10 Marines in a row. Like, Paddy's one of them that people write off because, he's a loudmouth scouser and this, that, and the other. And it's like, but he's bloody good. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know who to compare it to, but he's come into the UFC with this whole kind of I'm going to stand up and fight. But actually, because of that, people are seriously underestimating his jiu-jitsu, and that's where he catches them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of like Oliveira. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's good with the hands, and he's got a lot better with the striking over the years. But as soon as you go to the ground with Oliveira, it's over. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think Oliveira is slightly the other way around, where he boasts his grappling, but actually stand-up's really good.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. I mean, I remember watching Paddy versus Bobby like about fucking 10 feet away from the cage, and from my angle, everyone kind of thought, why did Bobby shoot? And I'm looking and I'm going, Bobby didn't shoot. Like, Paddy kicked the leg out.
Right?
Yeah. And he kind of, it's instinct, isn't it? You try and grab onto something as you're falling. As soon as Paddy wrapped him up, I was saying to the people, I said, it's done. I said, he's done. He's going, oh, no, he's out. I said, he's out. He just doesn't realise it yet. Do you know what I mean? But Paddy versus Conor, I mean, that I have actually before now heard a few people talking about that and wondering, is that like, how would that happen type of thing, and how would it lead up to it? It'd be a great UK versus Ireland matchup for sure.
Yeah,
But
the embedded series would be brilliant. Watching them both have to
oh,
have subtitles.
it'd be hilarious. It'd be hilarious. See, now where would they host that though? Because I'd rather they hosted that in like, say, like Dublin or Liverpool, but it's probably going to
It would
be.
have to be Dublin, right?
You'd think so. If it's Connor's return, it has to be Dublin. Do you know what I mean? Ian Gary on the
Yeah,
co-main or something.
yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? Sean O'Bannon on there. But yeah, that's one of them fantasy matchups, isn't it, where people have been talking about it. I think there is a way. I think there is a way of that happening. Yeah, I don't and can't say too much, but I think there is a way of that happening.
So yeah, say Paddy fights at UFC London in
Mm,
March. He could fight again later in the year, and maybe
maybe it's
you never know.
I mean, it's like the thing with Conor at the minute is all what we're hearing at the minute is he's boxing Logan Paul in India, and then he's not boxing Logan Paul, he's boxing KSI, and then Tommy Fury's calling him out, and then Darren Silva's getting involved and calling Tommy a house. So at the minute we're wondering, is Conor boxing in India, or is he coming back to the UFC, or is he doing boxing and then coming back? It's just at the minute we've no idea what's happening with Conor,
Yeah,
which is usual, which is where we
yeah,
are every year. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because we thought he was coming back to fight Michael Chandler. He just done the Tough series,
Yeah,
and then next thing you know, he's in a film with Jake Gyllenhaal.
yeah. And then they book it, and then it gets cancelled like 2 3 weeks. Piera comes and saves the card, and then you've got Chandler fighting Oliveira again, and Chandler's still asking for McGregor, and it's like I'm telling you that guy's going to be 80 years old, calling him out for he's the most entertaining geriatric in the nursing home. You know, see you at the top of the stair lift. So I mean, I've always been interested in that fight, and I still kind of do want. I kind of do want to see it. I must admit. Um,
Yeah, I do.
but
The build up of Tough was good.
yeah,
I think they both got into each other's heads. I
yeah,
think Chandler's game for anyone at any time. To be fair to him, it's
yeah.
just a shame that he's hooked himself on this Conor thing.
Yeah, like he's dead set on I'm fighting Conor McGregor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know. He's trying to manifest it into existence, which is fair enough, But yeah, there's I think there might be other things at play. But at the minute, we need to know what's going on with Conor, because I was surprised as anyone to hear about the Logan Paul thing, and it was like that's interesting, But
but Logan Paul's now now come out and said he's focusing on the WWE stuff, isn't he?
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah, and then the other names that are coming out is KSI, and there's a bit
That's
of a build up.
ridiculous. That's
It's mad, isn't it? You know what I mean? I mean,
a
isn't
coked up,
KSI about
pissed Conor
5'5"?
McGregor might kill him.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I don't think KSI is that tall, and he's not that much of a good. But maybe that's what people want to see. Maybe people want to see KSI getting bad for that thick of it song. Do you know what I mean? If you can call it a song, you know what I mean? But then even Tommy Fury's come out now and threw his hat in the ring, and it's
Yeah,
like what?
the call out was shit though. The call out was shocking.
It was, it was.
Very cringy.
And then you got Darren Till coming out and having a pop at Tommy for backing out of his boxing, which was hilarious, by the way,
Yeah.
hilarious. You know what I mean? I'm gonna kick you in the head. And he's like, no, well, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, no, come on now. Like, what's that? Like,
Yeah. I saw the Ariel Hawani show with Darren Till and Anthony Taylor, and
I
that was
missed
quite
it.
funny.
Yeah. I can imagine anything Darren Sil's involved in is hilarious. Do you know what I
It's-
mean? Like,
He was like, "You fought nobody. You fought no one."
I love it. I love Darren Till. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he's hilarious. I think he's great. I mean, that's happening in Manchester. That fight. That's happening at the Co-op where 304 was.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was considering could I get there and could I, but I might just watch that one on the telly. You know what I mean? But
I'm sure Angus Jenkins, our editor, will be there. So
yeah,
yeah,
they'll have to give us the lowdown on that one. The funny thing I found out about that, which I found hilarious, when they put the full card up, was Bevo was on it, and you know who
yeah,
Bevo is, right?
yeah. The
Uh,
swallowing potatoes whole guy.
Yeah. The Americans aren't going to know who Bevo is, but put it this way: there's a guy that somehow got famous for swallowing his dinner whole. Like, and
Yeah,
this is this is the world we're living in now. And he also is with a porn star and lets her like do things with other men. So that's the other. It's wild.
he's not on the fight. He's not on the card anymore though.
No, he's pulled out. He's pulled
He
out.
had
He couldn't.
he had a seizure or something, and then broke his
Yeah,
wrist whilst he was fitting or something.
I don't believe that. He's choked on a potato and he's broke his wrist doing something else. Do you know what I'm saying? That's I'm not believing that story. But yeah, I'd
Yeah.
fight Bevo. I'd fight Bevo just for the fun of it. You know what I mean?
To be fair, he's fallen off so much. I reckon you'd actually be in with a shot for fighting Bevo.
I know. Yeah. I'm throwing my hat in the mix there. If Angus can get me on Misfits to fight Bevo, I'm on that. Do you know what I mean?
I would. I'll be there then. I'd be there
Yeah.
then. Any other reason I wouldn't be there, but if you're fighting Bevo, I'll definitely be there.
Trust me, there's a few other people that I'll eventually call out for a fight if they ever come out of the mum basement. But that's another story. But yeah, it's mad what's going on in the old boxing world and at the minute.
Yeah, speaking about the Paul brothers and bringing it back to MMA, obviously Jake Paul, his Logan's brother, is announced is anticipating an MMA fight. His debut in MMA this year in the PFL.
That's interesting. I mean, he's been saying that.
It makes sense to me now why they've cut the winnings from £1 million to 500k because got to pay that prick. But
Yeah, it's like, yeah, boys. So we've just got Jake Paul. We can't afford you anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, who's he gonna fight? That's what I want to know. Can we throw him in there with Ngannou?
No. I know exactly who I want him to fight.
Okay.
Because last year the guy put on one of the most entertaining fights across all of the promotions.
Okay.
He's currently in the PFL. He's just won. I think it was some sort of amateur or newcomer competition and won himself 100 grand. And I think he'd murder him. I would love to see him fight with Lewis McGrillen.
Oh, that would. What weight is he?
I'm not entirely sure. Lewis McGrillen is pretty small in size. Let me have a look quickly, and I can tell you.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good. I mean, there was always the talk about Nate Diaz doing MMA, wasn't there, with Jake Paul? But I can't see Nate sign at the PFL. Maybe I don't know. Maybe then the winners will go down to 250,000 then if they sign Nate Diaz. You know what I mean?
He is a bantamweight.
I see Jake's massive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
to be fair to him, he's a big boy.
he is. I'm not saying he's using anything to help that, but
Oh yeah, I'm he is.
yeah.
What about Brendan?
Who? Brent? See, that'd be a good one. I'd love that. So he's a featherweight, though, isn't it? I mean, but I don't think he struggles to get to lightweight or welterweight. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, though, I think either of them could fight at a catchweight and they'd still beat him. That's the thing.
100%. Like, I don't think Jake Paul has a cat in hell's chance of winning an MMA fight. Like, it's just not happening. Boxing, yeah. I mean, all right, he's not fought great competition. Do you know what I mean? And he has lost to Tommy Fury. But MMA is a totally different game. Why do you think boxers don't come to MMA? Do you know what I mean? it's multiple disciplines. I mean, we saw it with James Toney back in the day with Randy Couture, didn't we? He was took down and arm triangled within like a couple of minutes. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, Jake. I think the only reason that's going to happen is people are going to watch Jake Paul get absolutely murked for however long the guy wants to keep it going for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jake Paul's my human equivalent of a sock you can't find. He's annoying, and everywhere you look, he shouldn't be there. He should be there, but he's not there.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
the fact that people, especially after the whole facade of fighting Mike Tyson, like that shouldn't have happened. I really don't think that should have happened. And to make it even worse, I'm fairly sure from watching a few clips that Mike Tyson held back.
You know, right? I would rather believe that because like growing up, Mike Tyson was and still is like my favorite boxer of all time. Do you know what I mean? Like I know I'm from that era, I'm from the '90s era, and this and the other, but I hope he was holding back because I'd like to think Mike could have absolutely took his head off if he wanted to, but he held it back. You know what I mean?
I genuinely think. I mean, the guy, like 2-3 months before that, had to be rushed off of a plane because he had an emergency health scare.
Yeah,
and he's still done it.
yeah, 100%. I mean, he was 58 wasn't he, at the time as well. It's like he even looked 58. I mean, that was the thing. He looked good. You could tell he was 58. And there was that thing where he was. I noticed that because I did watch it. You know, I hate myself for it, but I did. And he was biting the thumb. I know. It was on Netflix. It was free. Right. There was nothing else on at that time. So yeah, I'm a sadist. You know what I mean? He like bit he was biting his glove. You know, his thumb. And I've never seen Mike do that in any of his other fights. Do you know what I mean? And I thought that is a bit weird. That, but the rumor or the theory is that he wanted to let himself go and he was stopping himself, type of thing. Do you know what I mean?
I can't remember who it was, but there was a technique that was from someone in like the 60s or 70s that for your guard and to maintain your guard when it's holding it, you would bite the thumb so you know that it's always covering that area of your face.
Yeah, but he was genuinely munching on the thumb. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't just like guarding. He was chomping like it was Holyfield's ear. Do you know what I mean? Like he was having flashbacks of chewing on earlobes and whatnot. So yeah, I mean there was him in the corner as well, and there was like you could see there was something not quite. I mean, fair enough. If Mike's done that to get a couple of million, fair enough. I mean, Mike Tyson's come out a few times and said legacy doesn't mean anything to him. Do you know what I mean? But for me, he's always
a chat with Jon Jones.
Exactly. Do you know?
Give us what we want.
Exactly, man. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Jake Paul PFL. You know, let's see it. You know, I'm gonna guess that's gonna be in Saudi. You know, I can see.
Who else is gonna pay that money?
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Turkey's gonna be involved in that somehow. And yeah, I think they'll probably have some of the superstars on the card. Ngannou, Cyborg. You know, I'd like to see Brendan on there. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
Moving on from that as well, coming into the news this week, they've started announcing some more fights. Dom Cruz is to come out and fight. And he's also said that this is going to be his last fight as well.
Yeah. I mean, we've been waiting for Dom Cruz for a while. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys ever seen on Twitter, there was this guy, Kenny Crow, and he was literally posting every day for, I think, I've probably got the number wrong, 262 days of they want Dom Cruz fight news. Like, and it was just, it had become like this big thing. Everyone was like, you got to do it, mate. You got to do it. And he was like, I'm going to stop doing it. Go keep doing it. And bless him, right? On his birthday, Dom Cruz messages or comments on his birthday post and says, fight news, I'm fighting Rob Fong. And I'm going to send you. I was like, you know what? That was so wholesome. That was the nicest thing I've seen on Twitter for a long time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
That's a commitment, though, isn't it?
Yeah. 206. I mean, I don't even think that's the right number, but I know it's over 200 days. Do you know what I mean? So fair play to him. Fair play to Kenny Crow for that. I'm going to start doing it with Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones. You know what I mean? Day one of Jon Jones, sign the contract, big boy. So it's, but
Yeah.
as well, I'm glad to see Dom Cruz back. I'm surprised it's Rob Font. I'm really old school, and I've still been waiting for the Jose Aldo fight for many years. You know what I mean? I've accepted it isn't going to happen anymore.
I know. Jose Aldo just lost to Mario Batista.
Yeah.
Well, I say just, it feels like a while ago now, but a lot of people thought he won that fight. And I do think after seeing how Jose's come back, did I say Jon Jones just then? I feel like I said Jon Jones. I don't know why. It's just logged in my head.
John's on the mind.
Yeah, just give him the money. But I genuinely think Jose Aldo would do some serious damage to Dom Cruz. I like Dom Cruz. I'm a big fan of Dom. I do think the career's gone on for a little bit too long, seeing as he was sitting on the sideline and watching half the fights while still being ranked like that. What I think a lot of people were of the same mind of like, come on, you're holding it up a little bit for some of these younger guys. And you would be a great fight for them and a great opportunity for them.
Yeah.
So I was, but 260 odd days without having a fight. I think I'd be slightly embarrassed someone was doing that.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm glad he's coming because, like you say, Dom Cruz back in the day, like I remember him in the WEC days, and as far as I'm concerned, like he is the bantamweight GOAT. I feel he is the bantamweight GOAT.
He was revolutionary.
Yeah, 100. His movement was like, it was like watching something you'd never seen before. It was like watching Muhammad Ali in his prime. Do you know what I mean? Like how is he moving like that? Like what's he doing?
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we had I'm a big fan of Cody Garbrandt, and we saw Cody Garbrandt just absolutely just play with him. Do you know what I mean? And that was kind of like after that, like Cruz didn't seem to be the same after that. But yeah, he was a pioneer in that crazy footwork type thing, and even in the fights that he's lost recently, like Chito Vera, and he still looked good until he got caught. Do you know what I mean? It was one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. How old is Dom Cruz now? He must be late 30s.
Yeah, he's going to be late 30s, might be early 40s, or approaching very close to 40. He is also as well. I met Dom Cruz at UFC 284, and he genuinely he's 39, so yeah, almost 40.
Nearly 40. Yeah.
Oh, and his birthday's the 9th of March, so very, very close to 40.
Yeah.
Genuinely, a lot of people, from my experiences of being at these events that aren't directly related to fighting, will try and avoid you and can be difficult to talk to. Dom Cruz was more than happy to stop and take a picture with me. More than happy to take the time to sign my UFC shirt. So what I say genuinely is in jest, and I'm a big fan because some of them can be very difficult to engage with. So big props to Dom.
Yeah.
I really hope that he makes the most of this. I think he could win it. I think it's a tough fight. It's definitely a tough fight. But Rob is one of those people that's like, I don't think he's quite good enough to go that much higher than he currently is.
Yeah. I think, I get what you mean, because I mean, Rob Font's skilled and he's been in a few wars and that, but I don't want to call him a gatekeeper, but he's someone that people will beat to try and or fight to try and move into the higher. Do you know what I mean?
I think gatekeeper sums him up perfectly, unfortunately.
You've said it then. I've not said it, but pretty much, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And as I say, I mean,
it's passing the baton, but not from the champions, but from the gatekeepers.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I mean? I mean, like I say, I was surprised to see. I was happy to see Dom Cruz fight news, I didn't realise that rhymes actually. That's pretty good.
Dom
That.
Cruz fight news.
Yeah. But was surprised to see it was Rob Font. You know, like I feel like they might have been. I know he was calling for the Henry rematch, and that's what's so funny. I think he recently said that Hunter Campbell or Mick Maynard put him on the same card as Henry Cejudo and Sung Yadong. And it's like, it is quite funny because apparently Cruz was asking for Henry Cejudo and Cejudo said no. So it's funny that they've made those both main and co-main. But yeah, I think it'd be nice. If he wins that and sails off, it'll be good. You know,
I think the Song Yadong fight with Henry Cejudo is a dangerous fight for Henry.
Yeah, 100%. I like. I'm going to be careful how I say this because it sounds wrong, but I like Yadong.
He loves you too, baby.
Hey. And I think he is dangerous. He's a great fighter. And Cejudo, I think if he loses this, I think he might retire again. Do you know what I mean? Because this is like the second or third time Cejudo's come back now, and it's like it's.
At this point, I think Henry's got Parkinson's and just keeps on forgetting he's retired.
I think so too. Do you know what I mean? All that
he's
cringy,
been back and forth so much.
all that cringy shit he's been doing. He's gonna think he's Have you gone again? Only you there.
No, I mean, I don't know what that was.
It just went a bit weird. I think he's gonna think he's fighting like Dillashaw or something again. Do you know what I mean? He's forgetting that he retired a couple of years back. But yeah, that's a good fight. I mean, that's UFC Seattle, isn't it? That's that.
Yes, I think so. From the top of my head, I think so.
I think it's Seattle, which is the same card as friend of the channel Modestus is fighting on.
Yes, on is it the 15th? No, it's not the 15th, is it? It's the 11th. Is it the 11th of Feb? Something like that. I can't remember now.
I feel
exactly
like
what it is.
I feel like it's the 22nd, but I might be.
God.
I'm
oh God.
I'm gone. UFC Seattle. It's February 22nd. You're well off.
Jesus Christ. I need a new job. And to top it all off, I absolutely flew. We did our end of year quiz that Sai hosts, and I won it. And it was the biggest float going.
You've used up all your knowledge, though. That's what it is. It's you've used it all up now.
We'll run with that. Yeah, thank you. What else going on? Can you still hear me okay through the mic?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's not changed?
No.
Okay, it just told me that there's a new recording. But anyway, we'll skip over that. Dom Cruz, yeah, and Henry Cejudo. I think, yeah, I mean, it's going to be fairly bittersweet. To be fair, I'm quite happy. Like Henry was coming back. When he was coming back, he was giving all this chat, and he's not up to it at all.
No. I mean, there was Merab, which absolutely just schooled him and threw him about. See, now it's my turn to forget shit. Who was Cejudo's last fight? It wasn't Merab, was it?
I will tell you. 2 seconds. I'll get them all up. Did he fight Aljo? I feel like he fought Aljo at some point.
He did fight Aljo. That was before.
Yes. On the February the 18th, he fought Merab, and on May the 7th, the year before, he fought Aljo.
Yeah. So Merab was his last fight. Yeah. But yeah, I think personally, like I think I'm going to start calling him Song because if I keep saying Yadong enough, an African guy's going to ask me why I'm gay. But yeah, Song could potentially beat him there. And I think bantamweight as well. Bantamweight's getting so interesting. There's so many like good fighters coming up, and you've got the Merab versus Umar in a week.
Yeah, I think the division as a whole is getting interesting. I don't think whatever's going to happen at the top after February the 9th is going to be that interesting for a while. I mean, I think Umar's going to beat Merab, and I think for a very long time Umar's going to rule the roost.
Well, is a Nurmagomedov, isn't it? So they have a
Yeah.
habit of reigning. Do you know what I mean?
And dare I say, I think he might have the best wrestling, the best stand up of all the Megadovs.
The Nurmagomedovs, yeah. I've got so much better at saying that because I usually butcher names, but for some reason I can say that one. I can even say Zabit Madasharipov, I think. Anyway, but yeah, his strike.
It was like a preschool kid trying to do his syllables.
It was, yeah. I can say Zabit.
I'm not
But
even
yeah,
going to attempt it. I would be that bad. So yeah, fair play.
yeah, no, 100%. I mean, the fight, Umar's fight with Sandhagen, I think it was a very underrated potential fight of the year. Do you know
It
what I
was
mean?
close as well.
Yeah,
That's the main thing. I felt slightly sorry for Corey because I feel in rounds 4 and 5, I think it ran away from him a little bit, but
yeah, yeah,
the other rounds were quite close.
yeah. And there was, I mean, like I say, even the grappling exchanges. I mean, Corey was like, he wasn't anywhere near like Umar's level, but he was getting out. He was like defending some
Yeah,
of them. Again, the striking exchanges were beautiful. Do you know what I mean? It was an
yeah,
amazing fight. That's definitely one to rewatch if anyone hasn't like watched that for a while.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, bantamweight's pretty interesting at the minute. Um, I miss Cody Garbrandt, like prime Cody Garbrandt. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You're not a fan of no love for no love.
I think you know what. Genuinely, I think I preferred TJ. I was more of a TJ guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you were
Um,
either one or the other, weren't you? You know what I mean?
yeah. And I think they had a fantastic rivalry. I just, yeah, he was, he wasn't my cup of tea. But yeah. Speaking of, I don't know if we've touched on it at all yet. UFC London's coming up March 22nd.
Yeah,
We've started to see some fights be announced. I
yeah,
don't know if
yeah,
it's official, but the closest I've seen to a main card at the moment looks like it's Jack Della Maddalena versus Leon Edwards.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's been nothing official put out there. Yeah, I know there was a lot of talk about Leon versus Sean Brady, and then people were talking about Leon versus JDM, and it's yeah, that
What was Sean Brady's last fight?
I don't want
It
to say
wasn't
it wasn't Bilal,
it
surely.
wasn't Bilal, surely.
Right, let me double check. I'll
I can't remember him fighting since then though. That's the thing.
if we've missed a fight, that's going to be really embarrassing for us. But let's double check. So it was Gilbert Burns. He fought Gilbert Burns.
I'm gonna have to go
He,
on Fight Pass for that one. Jesus Christ, I don't
oh,
remember it.
yeah, it was a fight night in September last year. Why don't we
It wasn't
remember?
even long ago. Shit.
Why don't we remember? Anyway, so yeah, no, so,
Because I
apologies.
could have sworn Gilbert Burns' last fight was Jack Della Maddalena. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think that. I think, let me see.
Maybe.
Let me see if that was Gilbert. That has to have been Gilbert's last fight. No, it wasn't. No, he fought Sean Brady after JDM.
That's what I'm saying. Um
Okay.
okay, yeah. Right, that's the end of this podcast. Good night.
Yeah, yeah.
I do not qualify to do this anymore.
Um,
Jesus.
that's embarrassing. I'm just gonna say that I was drunk that day and I forgot it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah,
I'm just
that's.
going to say they were really boring fights. That's why I can't remember them. So
I know.
yeah, you know.
I need to see
Um,
you on the card.
but I will rewatch them to remind myself.
Yeah, definitely. You got to do research and tape study. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, Leon versus JDM. If that's the one that's going to happen, I think that's a really good fight. Do you know what I mean?
It's definitely my preferred option of all the potentials.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot to prove for both fighters if that's the one, because like Leon's obviously needs to prove they
I
still
don't
got
think
it.
I don't think Leon's got anything to prove. I think
Yeah,
it's favourable for him because it's a guy that's going to stand up and want to stand on the feet and
yeah,
fight.
yeah,
Which is going to play well to Leon, which is why I could see that he's accepted that fight.
yeah,
Um, but Jack's got depending on like weight class dependent, possibly some of the best boxing skills on the
yeah,
UFC roster. I
yeah.
think.
Very underrated and very like I mean, even if you look at his days before the UFC, like he was
Yeah,
crisp with it. He was knocking everyone out. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, so yeah, this is definitely going to be one of them stand and bang fights, which I think people will
Yeah,
really love to see.
that's
Um,
what I want. That's definitely
yeah,
what I
yeah,
want.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it'd be incredible.
Everyone loves the stand and bang. But like say, if JDM pulls that off, like you're potentially looking at next title shot. I mean, there was even talk when Bilal pulled out of the Shavkat fight of JDM stepping in for that. So
Yeah.
JDM is definitely being spoke about with high regard. And then if Leon wins, does Leon get the shot after Shavkat and Bilal happen? Do you know what I mean? So
Mhm. Well,
welterweight's a good one.
I don't know if many people that listen to this do this or if you do as well, but I do like to collect the UFC cards, like the autograph cards. I got some of them up there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I thought
And
about getting that. I still haven't got any. What have you got there?
this one here is a rookie Jack Della Maddalena season pass gem mint 10, so it's like perfect condition. And I bought that one on because I was fairly confident just before the Gilbert Burns fight that I felt like he could possibly go all the way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but big but I think he would struggle against the likes of Bilal and Shavkat.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I mean at the current standings at the top, I think he'll struggle. Um, I'd love to see him fight Ian Gary though.
Oh, that'd be a good one. That would be a good one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I think. See, I also think eventually, like Leon versus Gary might happen because there's a little bit of history there. There's a little bit of beef there, and again, I
yeah,
think Gary's kind of improved. Gary's really improved his grappling. I've got to admit. But if you're training with Oliveira, then that's bound to happen. If that doesn't happen, and you're training with
yeah,
Humour,
100%.
so much wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
100%. Yeah,
so JDM versus Gary, I don't think could be as stand as bangy as Leon versus JDM. I think there'll be a lot of mixing the martial arts there. But yeah, we're still waiting to see. I mean, the tickets for London go out very, very soon.
yeah.
And
In the next couple of weeks, right?
yeah, we're still kind of waiting. I mean, there's been some great confirmed fights for it so far. I mean, you've got, is it Blahovic versus Ulberg? Is that on there?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Olberg. I mean, he seems to be walking his way to the top at the minute.
Yeah, yeah. And,
And he's also at the same time the kind of guy that I wouldn't like my missus to meet because he is fucking. Even I'd shag him. Um,
it's funny that every female like MMA fighter, a fan that I know, is just like, as soon as you mention Ulberg's name, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean. It's like Mackenzie Dern and Tracy Cortez for me. But
yeah,
but yeah, and Jan Blachowicz has been out of it for a while, and I think he's vastly underrated. I think Jan is
I think
underrated.
I think if he went in there with the right game plan and stuck to it, I think he could beat Alex. I do.
Yeah, yeah,
He showed it against Izzy that kind of top heavy
yeah, yeah,
wrestling
yeah.
style. The kickboxing didn't really have much to do with it.
No.
Um, I but he's got to string a few things together. I think first. Who else have we had announced? We've had so far. I think we've had Nathaniel Woods, which I'm super excited about. I remember watching him at I think it was Aspinall Blades when Aspinall blew his knee off the top of my
Yeah, he
head.
was on that card. Yeah,
Genuinely, one of my favorite fights I think I've watched live. It was like he didn't knock him out. It went to a decision, but just seeing how technically good he was, that up close was like the trips particularly. I think he hit him with quite a lot of trips in that fight, and it was just incredible to watch. Like the guy had no answers. Let me just let's see who else has been like genuinely confirmed. I don't want to go on.
Yeah, we got to be.
Mike B's.
Yeah, I mean, like, as going back to Nathaniel Wood, like, I've been chatting to him for a while because we met in Manchester. Top guy,
Yeah.
absolutely one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. And I watched him fight Pineda there at 304, and again, technical. He was skillful with it. The trips, the takedowns, the groundwork, everything. And again, it was a decision win, but definitely one hell of a fighter. And this, if I don't know if it has been officially confirmed, his next opponent, but he's on it. He's on London, and I think the opponent.
I think it has now. I think Marcel Dorf posted it, and he's like Fabrizio Romano for me. If Marcel's posted it,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
possible.
if I've not seen that, but if Marcel's posted it, then fair enough. Okay, I'll yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's against Morgan Cherie, I think, off the top of my head, who's the French guy who
That's right.
was at Cage Warriors. Is he just coming from Cage Warriors?
Yeah. No, it was on the Paris card. I think it's a brilliant fight. Yeah, it's an amazing fight. I think Nathaniel put a little DM up as well. I was going to go for a beer afterwards. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
So I did tell Wood that the first round's on me, and I might regret that because it could turn messy. But so that's something I'm looking forward to. But that I think that's a great matchup for both men. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think Sean O'Bannon's been confirmed against Pooja.
Did she just is she coming off a loss? I feel like she's coming off a loss.
Oh, Shauna won at 304.
It was at 3-4 in Manchester, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
she was the opening.
It was the first fight of the night.
She was first fight. Yeah. And she looked good, you know. I got a lot of time for Shauna Bannon. Like she's a good girl. She's a nice girl, and I think she's better than people make out. You know what I mean?
Right. Let's see what TNT is saying. So TNT are saying 4 more fights have been added, including Molly McCann.
Yeah, Molly's on there. We've got Mick Parkin versus Tybora. That's a good fight.
Yes, that's a great fight as well. Tom will obviously be there to support Mick. Leroy Duncan, big boy, facing Andrei Pulayev. Headline fight still to be confirmed. Yeah, so TNT are basically saying at the moment, Mick Parkin versus Tybora, Molly McCann. Why do they? Can they just give me a list? You know what I mean? Alonzo Menifield's fighting on it as well.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not getting me that excited. If I didn't live in the UK, I don't think I'd be thrilled for it as a fight night. If I'm being honest, at this moment in time.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. No. I mean, I do get what you mean. I think as well, like there's I think with the main and co-main are the one that's going to settle it. Do you know what I mean? I think once they're announced officially, I think it might change things a fair bit. Everyone watching this could probably tell I'm being very careful what I say because I do know a few things that's going on behind. I know. But yeah, I think eventually once it's all put together, it's gonna be good. I'd like to see. I also saw Lerone Murphy say that Ortega would be good in London. I think that would be a very good fight.
Yeah, it would be.
Whether they make it or not is a matter.
I don't know. I want to see Arnold Allen back. I think that's like probably top of my list at the moment. If Arnold Allen was on this card, then I'd be a lot more hyped. I mean, I'm already hyped for the fact of like Nathaniel. I couldn't speak enough about Nathaniel Wood, and how like technically good and sound I think he is. Like one of my favorite fights of all time. I don't know if you remember. It was going back to Fight Island when it first started in COVID. It was Rob Whittaker versus Darren Till,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like technically, just like it was such a entertaining fight. Like if you made one mistake, he was going to punish you for it, and it was
Yeah,
the suspense of watching them. It was incredible. And yeah, one of my favorite fights of all time, and no one got knocked out.
but
I'm sad.
Till caught Rob with that elbow and dropped him. If you remember
At the
that.
end, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cut
That
him
was
right open.
yeah. I mean, that was I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like as
I
Till,
thought it was going to swing the fight, if I'm honest, because
yeah, yeah, same
Till
here.
wasn't bleeding.
No, and I think you know,
So,
the best thing about them Fight Islands was the no crowd. You
oh,
heard
100%.
it's so good, man. It's so good. Like you hear every smack, you hear every twat. You know what I mean? Everything. It's just like it's unreal, unreal. It's like when
And
they released the. Go on, sorry, man.
no, you continue. You continue. We're flowing.
I was just saying, like when they released the no commentary tracks, you know, on YouTube, like the
Yeah,
fights with
yeah,
no
yeah.
commentary. It's so good, man. And like it's like being there live without the annoying casual next to you. You know what I mean? As saying stand them up and all that. You know what I mean? You're not the
Sweet.
annoying casual. You weren't the no. There was some. There was at 304. There was definitely some. I overheard someone say, "Is Conor fighting?" And I nearly threw my pint at him. I didn't. You know, I wasn't getting thrown out before the main event. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled. I think it's something over the next few weeks as things get announced. We're going to check back in on,
Yeah.
and just see how it builds up, and then maybe a few weeks before the card, we'll give our rating for the card.
Yeah.
Regardless, I will be there, in and around everything going on. The rest of
Yeah.
the guys that gets defense will, and I'm sure you will as well. So we'll
Yeah.
probably all be together. To be
That's
honest,
my official announcement here. Is this man lad is travelling down to London for a few days, and I'm either going to get arrested or I'm going to have a great time, or both. Do you know what I
I think
mean?
both.
Both. I think both too. I genuinely do think both. But I'll probably be attending the fight night as well, and having a good time. So it should be a very good week. That.
Yeah, if you I mean, you'll post it as yourself, I'm sure. But if you're listening, watching, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, we'll have social media links down below. Drop us a follow, and we will. Usually, what we do against the fence is we kind of try and orchestrate. It doesn't always work out very well, but they're getting better. Kind of a fan meetup. So loads of us content creators and other fans all come together. We try and shoot some fan related content about some of the fights coming up. So if you want to have your opinion heard, be there, and we will be there. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
So
to it. Like I say,
yeah. So to wrap this up, there's one more thing on my list, and it was possibly the strangest thing I think that come out of the past week or so in terms of news, and that's Dana White joining the Meta's board of directors.
most randomest fucking thing I've ever heard. You know what I mean? Like, do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's
It's mental. You know, what made me laugh about that was Elon Musk was at the UFC event not long ago with Trump, and then Dana's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go with Zuckerberg." Like what? What?
yeah.
Elon must be fuming.
It's been a very weird dynamic because at one point Elon was going to do a grappling match
I
with
remember that.
Mark,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
I thought it was going to be full MMA apparently, and they were going to put it all in the Roman Colosseum and all that stuff.
I
It's
can't get my head around it all.
it's a bit odd, and to me, I kind of maybe this is another way of looking at it. Like, is Dana starting to step away from the UFC a bit? Like I mean, he's got the power slap. He's now the board of the meta directors. It's like, how many other fingers in pies is he going to have when he should kind of be focusing on the UFC?
I think the thing I'm interested to see first from Dana is exactly what his role is going to be. I haven't read too much into it.
Yeah,
Just as a headline.
yeah,
Um, I what what is particularly relevant? I mean, apart from advertisement, and when you're going to try and block your ex on Facebook, you just get the next UFC pay-per-view come up. I don't know how it's going to benefit him too much.
Maybe they're going to bring back Facebook prelims. Do you remember them?
No,
Do you remember Facebook?
no.
You don't remember Facebook? I'm showing my age. So, like back in the day of UFC, early prelims was live streamed on Facebook. Like I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's debut was live on Facebook.
Oh, now you are going back. Jesus Christ!
I'm really showing my age here, but it's so maybe they're gonna bring that back. Maybe Facebook prelims are making a return, or they're gonna put fights on in the metaverse. If you remember
You know
that.
what? Recently I picked up a MetaQuest headset, the MetaQuest 3 headset.
Oh, the VR things.
Yeah, and I do have to say they are absolutely incredible.
They are pretty cool. I tried one out in a shop over Christmas, and I was like, this is the future. This is mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yesterday I got home, I finished work, and then I was walking around the streets of Gotham, beating people up as Batman.
And then you put the MetaQuest on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean they are incredible. I tell you what I would like to see him do and be involved in is if they brought a UFC game to the MetaQuest.
Yeah,
I could definitely see myself like question mark kicking my TV,
yeah.
and breaking my foot.
Or they put fights on, so a PPV on the MetaQuest, and it's like gay side. How sick would that be?
Could you imagine?
That'd be mint. Do you know what I mean? You just put the headset on, and you're literally cage side, and you're looking about. You know what I mean? And you just that'd be pretty sick. It'd be like the sphere on your head. Do you know what I mean?
That'd be so sick. Have you seen those hyper realistic football stadiums they've got in the US at the minute?
Yeah.
Where it's like you're sat in the crowd and you've got like that massive, like 8K,
Yeah.
massive, like curved screen in front of you.
Yeah. Well, at first, you know, when I first saw that, I thought, "Oh, that's the sphere," and then I actually saw the real sphere, and I was like, "Oh no, it's not. That's amazing." You know what I mean? That's like a little telly in the corner, and the sphere's like a big Odeon picture. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean,
Could you imagine watching that as if you're basically inside the ring?
As the ref, like the PFL puts the ref cap on, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, you'll hear Mark Goddard breathing, and you'll be like, "Oh, fucking hell, I'm Mark Goddard today." Do you know? Well, I'll sit.
They had it for the Max Holloway knockout of Gaethje, man. When he goes,
Mate. That was the first time I ever heard Mark Goddard say something in the ring that wasn't telling the fighters off. Do you know what I mean?
You can tell he's a fan just from that, can't you?
Like, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think he did an interview not long after, and even he said that's the first time I've ever gone, "Oh my God," in a fight. Do you know what I mean? It's over. It's over.
Just like he's obviously like his eyes are half on the clock. They're ready to stop it.
Yeah.
And literally, he's got like a second left.
He's probably thinking, "Yeah, well, that was a great fight, boys." And oh, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But well, mate. I mean, that was voted the best knockout of the year by myself, by UFC, by ESPN, and I still say that's one.
I tell you what, I don't know. Are we going to see a better one this century?
I mean, there's always the potential in there. There's a potential for anything. That's what I love about MMA. Anything's possible. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you'd have told me back in the day that you'll see someone who will do like a spinning heel kick when someone's, you know, the Joaquin Buckley spinning heel kick, I'd have gone, that's in the film. Nah, it's not going to happen. But then at the same time, I did see Edson Barboza literally wheel kick Terry Etim's head into the stands. And I think nothing's ever going to beat that. Do you know what I mean? So, and now we've got Max Holloway knocking out Gaethje on the last second of the last round, and it's like nothing's going to beat that. But you never know. You never know. Maybe when Tom knocks out Jon Jones.
Oh, Oh, first round, 30 seconds in.
You know what I'm saying?
Night.
But yeah, it's one of the best KOs I've ever seen. That feeling was unmatched. It was like it's like a pot
Yeah.
of something.
It was funny. I did one of the interviews, I think, as you know, with John Godden recently, and
Yeah.
I said to him, like, how was it? Like, that must be one of the highlights, and he was like, not for me really, because I'm still a bit disappointed with my follow up, which was that's real life ninja shit. But and I was like, yeah, but just I was thinking more like witnessing such an incredible moment.
Yeah. Only someone like John Gooden could be like, yeah, it was the best KO
Critical
of
of
all.
that moment,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the best knockout of all time. But my line could have been a bit better. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, to be fair, I do the same thing. I'm probably going to watch this back later and go, shit. Why did I say that? Do you know what I mean? But it's, you know.
No, you won't.
Yeah,
You won't. You'll be fine. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, we've been going for an hour and 15, which I think is relatively short for us.
pretty much. I haven't even had a drink yet. Wait until
Goodness, yeah. Imagine.
wait until London. With the content that we film in London is going to break the internet. I guarantee it, man.
Yeah, we need to do an MMA related pub crawl.
I like that.
And film the whole thing.
Yeah.
That'd
Bisbing's
be good.
invited. Tom's invited. Everyone's invited.
That would be insane. But yeah, if you've listened to now, thank you very much. Obviously, this is a new thing for us. Red Wolf, thank you for joining. I'm excited to see where this goes. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoyed today, so thanks.
Me too. Thank you.
If you are new here, don't forget, like, follow, subscribe. Both our socials will be down below. Hit the links, share the love. If you've got any feedback as well, I'm a big fan of feedback. So send us some feedback and we will listen to you. Don't worry. And yeah, anything to sign off with?
I don't know. I think I've actually spoke. I've said too much already. But yeah, it's been great. I think this could be the start of something very special.
Yeah, it's like High School Musical, that.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I
mean? I'm not singing. No,
don't sing.
We're doing so well till now.
Oh, mate. But yeah, other than that, boys and girls,
thank you very much.
it's been a pleasure.
We'll see you in the next one.
See you later.